welcome back to the Would-Be Carpenter's Shop. Today I'm going to be working on a vintage Stickley solid cherrywood dining table and chair set. Well, I got a little ahead of myself before I decided I was going to film. I started out with a 180 grit and took the really heavy gouges out of the seats and off of one section of the table. That's basically, I didn't run into anything unusual. On the rest of it, I just use a medium pad and just rub the finish off the chairs and the table, and it worked out good. I was able to do a little bit of repairs. I've redid the stretchers on all the chairs, and what I'm going to be showing you to save time, unless I run into something unusual, is I'm going to be showing you completing a chair, and then I'll go to the table so that you don't have to watch me do all the chairs exactly the same way. Here is the Stickley mark that is marked on all of the bottoms of the chairs and the table. And the seller, Hathaway's, 51 West 45th Street, New York. The tags are made out of a celluloid plastic that's very brittle. I tried to repair one and it didn't work out, so I just decided to leave the rest of them alone. Okay, here I'm starting off with the first chair, and I just want to show you how I take the stretchers out and go over gluing them back in, cleaning them up. Here I'm taking out the pins that hold the stretchers in. I'm using a little blade behind the plier that I'm using to help protect the wood. Here I've cleaned off the old glue before I am brushing on some glue in the holes. Now here the chairs are dried, and I'm going to be sanding on the finish, taking what I can of the dried finish off. And this here is the first coat of stain. I'm just pointing out some of the flaws that are still in the wood that I'm leaving in. Whoa, there we go. Here I still have some gouges that are still visible that kind of bother me to see them so well. So I'm kind of taking them out the best I can without deforming the seat. I'll go back with 220 or 180, 220, just raise it until it's nice and smooth. Very, very hot today in Vegas. I'm leaving a little bit of the reason why I can't leave the sound in. I wanted to do shop sounds this time and cut out the music, but it's so hot in Vegas right now. My air conditioner's blowing as best it can, and it just messes up the audio for everything. And I'll let you have a little sample of that right now. This is the color that I'm trying to get to. I have a pretty good idea of what I'd like to do next time, so I hope you stick around. All right, here I'm just pointing out some old damage that someone tried to fix. They had glued a big old piece back into this leaf and nailed it with finish nails. They were pretty good at nailing a finish nail straight down through that wood without splitting it. And it cleaned up really well. These feet were all pretty dirty. I had to use some lacquer thinner to break up all the dirt and grime. But that didn't even work. So I had to end up taking some 220 and really getting on it. I'm going to be using on the leg here. It's got a lot of scratches and damage on it, so I'm going to even it out. I'm just going to do the leg. The skirt, I'm just going to use the brown medium pads on. And this dark black stain that's on here, I tried using a little lacquer thinner. It wouldn't take it off, so, it wouldn't clean up. It was just grime. So I'm just going to sand this foot with a little bit of 220. See if I can get that stain out and clean it up. Get the rough nicks out of it. Really bad, I might use some metallic acid. A little bit bleach on it, but I think it's going to come out. What's in here? It's going to be the opportunity to get some of these nicks, these big, heavy dents out. They want that cleaned up, so. It's right here, like that's not actually. Well, I guess it's like, okay, like this. Let's wait. Yeah, I think it's metallic acid. It worked out well. I didn't have to use any oxalic acid or anything else on the others. When the stain went on, it blended really well, so I was real pleased with it. I did use a 220 to go over the legs, just up to the block there, right here. 220 on the legs, and then I used a pad on the rest of the skirt. It took the finish off real well. But there was a lot of nicks and scratches that needed to come out. Here I'm getting ready to take the leaf off. A little bit better. It's broken still. Whole piece right there, so the sparks get more good, so we can glue it back up. It's also, I don't know if you can see this, but it was broke all the way down through here. The whole piece was broke off, so someone must have overextended the table leaf, busted it. All right, let's get to fixing that. Well, that made it a little easier, didn't it? Sure did. Well, if it'll make it easier for me to show this here. Alright, now I'm going to spray this here other side with the activator, okay? And then I hope the hell I get it on here straight. Okay. Let's hope that did it. And I got a little bit of fixing up. A little bit of fixing up to do, but it ain't bad. Ain't bad at all. Alright. I noticed that it's the nails, there's nails driven right down in this thing, man. They did a crazy drop on this, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. I gotta tap these down so I can get them hid. They're right out there in the plain day. I can put some tail on it, hide them. There's a hair. I'll do that time too. That's so good. I'm gonna take this here. I'll be able to straighten this out a little bit too. It's pretty bad. Alright. Alright. Well, you can see that I just drove those nails down in. Here's that piece that I just put on. It kind of filled part of it. I didn't intend for it to, but it did. Here's that part you was able to see from above the table. And it was, I didn't have this up close, sorry. Also, I brought this piece down here to dry tonight, and I'm just going to go over the back of this table with the medium pad. I'll pad it really good and take that old finish off. It's really dry, just put it right off, and then I'll go ahead and stain it, and I'll put like a one coat finish on it, just something to protect it. Alright, looking good. Alright, the table legs are stripped and ready for staining. Alright, this was my test chair. I did a little semi-gloss finish over this earlier. Turned out real nice. Real nice. Okay, I just spotted another split on this side. Going pretty good on the thin there. It's just up into that right there, you see it? So, get this glue on this and get her tight good. Okay. Done hit this with some 220. I done padded this off, just the finish. So, I just went down on this, but right now it has it dry. Okay. Here's the first two coats on here. You can see the chair needs a good sanding, and the coat is coming along really nice. It's starting to shine up a little bit. Semi-gloss. Let me grab this way. It's kind of hard to see it. Beautiful, beautiful color. Do, do, do. Very nice color. I decided to use a light 220 on the bottom. There was some stuff on there that I just couldn't get off with the medium pad, so I went over it with the 220. Stained it and sealed it with a coat. Alright, now that I'm done, I went across the grain, soaked it really well, let it soak in just a moment, went with the grain on my last one, let it set a moment, and then I took a rag, my rag that I used to put on, and I just went over the top of it and just wiped down all the excess that was on there. And now we just let that dry till tomorrow, and that'll stop our stain that I'm going to be putting on from being blotchy on top of the table. Just a quick look overview of the top of this is just absolutely beautiful. Those aren't blotches, it's more of a chatoyance in the wood. Beautiful. Alright, this is turning out nice. If the leaves are turning out like that, they're looking good. Yeah, it's kind of in the evening here, but you can see I put some pencil marks here to keep my flat. I'm using a block sander. Alright, I brought those in. Those down there. This is just the light shining. Sorry. Okay, beautiful day for a spray. I'll spray it out here. That's where it comes from. Okay. And this one, beautiful color. I'm gonna have to do several more coats on the seats, but I think it's gonna turn out just fine. Alright, just put a coat on, and they're looking really good. Had a little bit of problem. I had two big drips right here. I don't know where it came from off of my gun, and yeah, it was a mess. I sanded them out and hoped it would go away, and it did. Alright, here's a little orange oil on steel wool. Went over the very top. I can feel it just cutting the little nibs off, little nits. It's nice and smooth. I'm going to go ahead and hook the leaves. It's a little oily and salty in some places, but all right, let's see if I can give you the once around without getting dizzy. It's kind of hard to see, isn't it? It's out in light. Pretty table. No chickens were harmed in the making of this video.